Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. Nice to have your company. I'm joined by three gentlemen who get 10 minutes every week, and so they should. Andrew Webster from the Sydney Morning Herald, from the Australian Brent Reid, from the Daily Telegraph. David Riccio. Gentlemen, we haven't heard the word dudded mentioned in a long, long time in our game. Were Manly dudded the other night?
Yes. Well, and he did use it quite a lot, didn't he, Des? He actually, when he was walking out, went to an NRL official and went, dudded, as he was walking out of the room. Oh, look, it's 50-50, having looked at it a million times. I just think the common sense decision would have been a penalty, so the game isn't decided by, you know, one decision from the referee with 13 minutes to go.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was penalty sufficient for me. I wasn't comfortable with the sin bin, and I wonder if the NRL have now made a rod for their own back going forward. If that happens in the grand final, can you imagine the uproar?
All right, let me ask you a question. If it happened in the first 15 minutes and it's 0-0 in a game, what decision are you still making? The same decision? Still penalty?
I think the referees would have made the same decision because they're going down that path these days. I mean, look, Jakey put his hands on him. There's no doubt about that. I don't think he meant to clip his heels. I think he was just trying to cut across the back of him. But
the fact that he
actually put his hands on him, grabbed the jersey.
This whole idea that he's got a big...
He's given them an opportunity to send him to the sin bin.
Yeah, but you know what? We keep talking about... Todd Greenberg says, everyone says we want consistency in the game, we can't get consistency, we've got to be fair. No, Todd, people want consistency. So what I don't understand is how we'll probably watch the Roosters or the Storm or whoever next weekend where they'll give away penalty after penalty after penalty on their try line and know that their defence is so strong, and yet they won't send someone to the bin. Now, that's a professional foul. Yeah. That's 10 minutes in the bin. And they were supposed to crack down on that sort of stuff, but, you know, like all crackdowns, they last a couple of weeks in league and then they're over.
And same case in that scenario, no one was injured, right? Yet Mike Acevo has been charged this morning for a shoulder charge and no sin bin.
All right, well, hey, but you're going away from the actual issue here. You're telling me that penalty, that's a sin bin. In this situation, it is a try-scoring position.
Potentially.
Adam Reynolds is on the inside of Dane Gagai. If Gagai gets the pass and pass to Adam Reynolds, he has a straight run to the line.
We don't know.
Well,
their judgment calls.
Well, he's in a really good position. Yeah. It's a try-scoring position, and he does grab the jersey.
He put himself in a bad spot, Stella. There's no doubt about that. He gave the referees an opportunity.
I'm not trying to turn around. I'm just giving him the alternative.
I get it.
And I can understand why they did it in the end, because I don't agree with it. I think it's a soft sin binning, but I can see why they did it, because you're right. He had Gagai. If Gagai gets that ball on the inside, I think Gagai scores. I don't think he needs Reynolds. I know there was someone coming across in cover, but I think Gagai's got enough speed to get there.
Yeah. I guess I pose the question, Webby, because...
that's an accident, right? That's an accident, but where teams give away penalty after penalty on their own try line.
When someone grabs a jersey, it's not an accident. That's intentional.
Well, I don't think it was. I think it was accidental. I thought it was in the heat of the moment. He's crossed over the side of him, and if you look at the angle from the other side, it's the clipping of the heels that actually puts him over. He's grabbed it for a second. He hasn't grabbed it and gone bang.
Only takes a second, Webber.
Oh, I guess the question I'm asking is that if it was a different stage of the game and not so much on the line, would the decision be the same? I think
it would have been, Stella. I think it would have been, because I think they're in that frame of mind now that when that sort of stuff happens, when they see a professional foul, they just bin blokes. And we saw, Brad Parker went to the sin bin for the same thing.
That's different. That could have been a penalty try.
Yeah, that was
a blatant
trip. Yeah, but I'm saying it was a professional foul. They sent him to the bin, because that's what they do now. If they deem it's a professional foul, they just bin them straight away.
All right, well, let's go to the other sin binnings. Have the game gone too far in regards to Cameron Smith and Cody Walker spending time in the bin?
I can't argue with them. I think they're fair calls. I mean, Cody Walker slapped him in the face. If we're going to ban a punch, if we ban the punch, you can't then allow blokes to slap people in the face.
I think Cameron Smith was in a different position where, you know, he's had his jumper held onto with the referee standing there. I understand it. I understand the ruling, but I think it's madness that someone's going to get marched for 10 for that. Whereas you're right, where Sevo nearly cuts Pappenhausen in half with the most blatant shoulder charge, and he goes on reporting stays on the field.
You just said you want consistency.
How's that consistent?
Consistent for sin binning two blokes.
I'm saying, Reedy, I understand why Cameron Smith got sin bin. I'm just saying it is a stupid rule that he gets sin bin for that and Sevo doesn't.
No, the mistake there is that Sevo should have been sin bin.
That's right.
It's not that Cam or Cody Walker shouldn't have been. It said Sivo should have been sin bin.
So you're comfortable with Cameron Smith getting held down with his jumper, trying to slap it away. He clips the bloke's head, and that's 10 minutes in the bin.
He's like, yes.
So what's he supposed to do? What's he supposed to do?
Don't hit him in the head.
What's he supposed to do? Just stand there and
I'll
you
slap
pull
you
away,
on there
mate.
in a
You
second.
pull away, mate, because the referee's not doing anything. He's standing right there.
Why do you have to slap him in the face?
What's he supposed to do?
Slap his arm away.
Just stand there. Madness.
I just want you to go ahead
know
with
what?
what you were going to say. We'll just sit
him.
over here.
If I
Dave, we'll just watch the
backhand
next
him,
five.
am I going to get a $1,500 fine?
No, mate, you'll get ratings. That's what you'll get.
I'll be like Norman Gray back in the day.
Consistency-wise, Cameron Smith had to get to sin bin. On the back of what Cody Walker did, that is consistency, isn't it? And we're going to... As I said,
consistently
we're
stupid.
going consistently stupid may be, but we're going to keep seeing it.
I don't want as much consistency in the game as we're trying to
Do you
get.
think that's...
Because sometimes our best officiating is discretionary.
Do you think they should have been sin bin, though, for the slap? No.
And like I say, my point, in regards to Cameron Smith and Reid Marnie, they sorted it out. They were running back into position. It was all squared. It had no effect on the game.
But the voice of reason.
But
Thank you,
Pete,
Pete.
that's why he got sin bin, because of the Cody Walker one, which I disagree with.
I disagree with the
with you. I
Cody
thought it
Walker
was
as well. No,
soft.
as I say, we play an aggressive game. Sometimes you will step over the line and come up with, mate, fine them $5,000 each, $10,000 each. They won't slap.
He didn't get sin bin because of the Cody Walker one. He got sin bin because there's a rule that says you cannot slap someone in the face.
Oh,
or
you don't
go to
think
the
you
sin
don't
bin.
think because Cody went 10
That's a rule.
24 hours
on.
earlier, they're going to keep Cameron Smith on the field? Could you imagine the uproar?
And,
I think he would have gone.
and I reckon it was because it was Cameron Smith. Can you imagine?
Oh,
can
that's a conspiracy
I
if I've ever
reckon,
heard one.
for sure. Can you imagine the drama if they didn't send him off? We'd be all week
Absolutely.
talking about how Cameron Smith's the protected
the golden
species.
child.
Was Sam Burgess out of line with his criticism of the Match Review Committee and the Judiciary?
Yes, leave that to us. Oh, look, I think he just echoed all our frustrations about, those two arms of the NRL. That said, I have to say, Sam's not going to be, missing matches if he takes some, responsibility for his own actions.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff is on him. And he's not getting suspended for a hair pull if he doesn't do all the other stupid stuff throughout the year.
I think the kangaroo court thing was a bit far. He didn't have to say that. He could have made his point without suggesting it was a kangaroo court. I know it was just a throwaway line, and Sam probably didn't even know what he was saying, really. But that was the line that got him in trouble. If he just left it without saying that, it would have been fine, because you're right, Webby. How often have we talked on here about inconsistency in the match review and the judiciary? We talk about it every week. So we all know it's been like that.
That's right.
But it's just one phrase that probably went a bit far.
I think the NRL would be quite naive to think that Sam wasn't echoing a lot of fans and commentators' opinion. And I think, they want to try and silence that. And I agree, Sam could have conveyed that message a little bit better. But I'd hate to see a point in time where players like Sam, who will have an authoritative voice in the game, are afraid to speak what they think.
One player who will be missing this week is Jared Waerea-Hargreaves. What effect will that have?
Huge. I think it's massive. And statistically, the numbers are there that show that the Roosters struggle without their... He has been their enforcer. He's their leading forward. I was quite surprised he rolled the dice on this one and tried to fight the case, and now he's out of a prelim. They do have some depth, sure, the Roosters, in Tupanu and Isaac Liu, but I just feel to lose an enforcer against the Melbourne Storm pack is massive and potentially season-ending.
Losing his size hurts, because we saw Nelson, Asafa Solomona and Jesse Bromwich last night, outstanding for Melbourne. And losing Jared's size, I reckon, really hurts the Roosters, really hurts them.
Do you see Jared following, was it George Burgess to NIDA at all? Because at the end of it, that was like, I thought there was some potential there.
Panto.
He might have a career at Barcelona or somewhere. It was brilliant. It was a ripper, wasn't it? The arms went up. It was textbook all over.
Who do you like in the other game?
Are the Storm favourites for that game against the Roosters? Because I think that's how much the Hargraves suspension means to the game. The Storm have that power pack. I think that's enough for them to start favourites.
The thing I like about the Storm is that they're so versatile. I think Billy Slater said in commentary of their game last night, they can get in a street fight in the middle of the field, but if they have to, they can send it out to they've got the two of the best wingers in the game, so they've got all that strike out wide. I think it's going to be a fascinating game.
I think in regards to the Roosters with no Waerea-Hargreaves, one thing that comes to the fore for them is they have some underrated players there in regards to getting the job done. Taukeiaho is still underrated. So too is Isaac Luya.
Yeah.
They've blooded some young players like Tupanua and that earlier in the season.
And you know what? People sit there and they talk about the salary cap, sombrero and all that type of stuff. But the way that club recruits and the way that they develop their players is the reason why, more than anything, they're that strong at this time of the year.
The big call for the Roosters is whether they play Jake Friend or Sam Verrills at hooker. For me, I think they go Friend.
Yeah.
For experience, and he's one of the best defenders in the game.
I still think they're favourites, the Roosters. At the SCG, they've got a great record at the SCG. I still think they're favourites in that game.
Right. Just before we go, who do you like in the other game?
Canberra.
I'm going to go South.
Wow.
Ooh,
Well,
controversial.
no, I declared it here. They'll win the comp, the Raiders, so they go through.
I just said South to upset Webby, just to go
I'm
the
all right.
opposite of Webber.
I'm calm, man.
Well, that
I'm
was
calm.
that was wonderful.
You're the only one that upsets
wonderful,
me with your
gentlemen.
dribble.
Next week, the 10 minutes is just going to be you two together in the octagon. Okay? Thank you very much, Webby. Thanks, Rudy. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
David. Back with more on the Sunday Footy Show in just a moment. There you are, right there.